Alma. I can never say her last name. It's a lot, but you can see it right here. And this is I am not falling for Pedro Pascal. Now I saw this and I kind of feel the same way. Now, first thing I ever saw Pedro Pascal in was a spin-off movie for, oh god, it was the show Burn Notice. It was Burn Notice. It had a spin-off movie with Bruce Campbell. I really like Bruce Campbell. I watched it, and Pedro Pascal was like the goofy side character. And it seemed like after that, he just started popping up in everything. This dude has been all over the place. Game of Thrones, The Last of Us, Mandalorian. Now he's in the Fantastic Four, which I think he's a terrible casting for Reed Richards. I didn't like that. That is one of the only parts of the new ones that's coming out. Plus the footage for like the what's with actors like getting all like touchy and weird with each other now? They need like comfort strokes. What are you guys, a bunch of cats? Anyways, I figured we get into this. I think actors being cringe is one of the greatest things of all time. So I want to just roll the dice and have a little fun.
Safe and to be protected, and I want very much to live on the right side of history.
I too want to be on the right side of history, and I have a feeling the right side of history is going to be on whatever side is the opposite of Pedro Pascal. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better.
The opposite of Pedro Pascal. What does it even mean, bro?
Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Pedro Pascal, and I am not just coming out of left field to come and attack Pedro Pascal. In fact, I don't want to be seeing that much of Pedro Pascal, but he's being forced down my throat, okay? Oh, that sounded really weird.
Oh yeah, we throws Pedro Pascal is just presenting himself down my throat. I promise it's not any gay stuff, guys. Just a normal amount of gay stuff. We're having too much gay stuff with Pedro Pascal. We need more based Pascal, I guess.
Oh no, Pedro Pascal is everywhere, okay? I'm being forced to see Pedro Pascal everywhere. He's the 50-year-old heartthrob of Hollywood for both men and women. He's playing to both sides. He's queer-baiting, some on the left say, which may make Pedro Pascal a master baiter.
Dear God, delete your freaking channel, my girl. You had a chance, you had an opportunity, and you killed it.
But no, Pedro Pascal is like the darling of the political left right now. He's the darling of Hollywood right now, and he is totally fine being there. And Pedro Pascal is.
By the way, I have no idea about his politics. I simply clicked on this video. Now I know she's a right-wing creator, but I have had so much Pedro Pascal fatigue, and it's not that I don't think he's a good actor. I think the best thing I've seen him in. A lot of people might say The Mandalorian, but I like the weight of overmassive talent, or whatever that Nicolas Cage movie where it's Nicolas Cage playing himself. That movie's awesome, and Pedro Pascal's in that. But like, here's the thing, dude. I always hate when there's like one guy that they just like shove down your throat till you can't, like, you're just done. You're just done. You don't want to see that dude anymore. And also, there's like this weird thing with actors, like, especially right now, where they act all cringe and shit, and they act like they're all sensitive and oh my god, everything's so hard, I have anxiety, but then you're all like cool to get on stage and like lick a rainbow dildo, right? Like either you can't handle being anxiety and you don't like being in public, or you're cool with licking dildos on stage. You can't be both.
Making many a political statement recently, and he's been making political statements since he's been in Hollywood. And I think today we're going to take some time to unpack them and respond.
And by the way, it's fine to make political statements, absolutely fine. I think a lot of people like see somebody they disagree with on another side, and they're like, I'm not going to watch that dude's content because of the fact that I sit on a different side of politics. And it's like, come on, dude, Sean Penn's a great actor, even though he's absolutely a nut job.
To the one and only 50-year-old heartthrob.
Same with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson, fantastic actor, great director, but complete nut job. But I'm not going to say that I agree with either of those guys' politics, but I do like them in movies.
Is
like I feel like right now we are in like a hyper politicized state where people like want you to either believe be like 100% on their side or not. And for me, I hate that stuff. If you're talented, I'll watch it. If you're not talented, I won't watch it. Pedro Pascal, I just feel is like he's talented but not, he doesn't have the appeal. Like, he has a lot of appeal. I do like him and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I do like him and stuff. It's just, when I see something with Pedro Pascal in it, it's not like I'm like, oh, shoot, it's Pedro Pascal, I need to watch this. It's more like, oh, yeah, I like him okay.
Pedro Pascal. So we'll start off. My intro to Pedro Pascal was when he was on Game of Thrones. I think he played like Prince Oberyn or something like that. Awesome. He's a great actor. I've seen him in the
By
last.
the way, he was incredible in Game of Thrones. That was like the first thing that, like, I'd seen him in that Burn Notice thing. That Burn Notice like spinoff movie is trash. It was really bad, but it was like fun at the same time. He was really good in Game of Thrones. He was a very likable character, and when he dies, it's like, holy cow, dude. Yeah, he wasn't a death you were expecting.
Last of Us since. I've heard about his work on The Mandalorian. And you know what? His acting skills, good. We can leave it there. But my first intro to Pedro Pascal on a political level was with the whole Disney Gina Carano situation. As you all know, Gina Carano got fired from Disney's Mandalorian after posting a meme with some political reference to it. Meanwhile, her co-star Pedro Pascal was posting post after post about BLM, about defunding the police, about comparing Trump to Hitler. And what happened to his contract with Disney? Absolutely nothing. Did he speak up for Gina Carano even once? No, he absolutely.
No, it doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, this is the thing. A lot of these like entertainment types and a lot of these artists, you know, they'll turn on you in a second. I mean, this type of stuff happened when I was in like theater art school. The same thing would like happen. You would say something that was like, it was like you could be safe edgy all you want, which like, of course, me being an obnoxious asshole that I would be like making like crude jokes all the time, and it was all okay. And then it became a faux pas to like say retarded and stuff, or not, like it was like a faux pas to make like jokes like that, right? And I made some, and it was a new group at the school, and they turned on me in a heartbeat. All of a sudden I was ousted. I was like they acted like I was like the next most evil antichrist human being in the world, and I was just so confused, dude. I was so confused because it just didn't make any sense to me.
Absolutely did not. And of course,
is that Pedro Pascal from Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 4 episode 1, the freshman? Absolutely.
he's not obligated to come to the defense of somebody who's been fired from a project that he's working on, but it really made me wonder, if Pedro Pascal is so bold about his views, why doesn't he defend the right for others to share their views, especially his female co-stars on a pretty big project? And of course, Gina Carano's, at least Disney career and Hollywood career, was on a downtrend ever since that very moment, and Pedro Pascal has been on the uptrend. I mean, he is everywhere.
By the way, the only great season of Mandalorian was like the first season. The first season was incredible. It was so good. And the second season was okay. And then it just got really bad after that. It lost all trajectory after like the first couple seasons, which sucks for me because it was like the first Star Wars IP that I really, really liked. And it just burnt me to where I didn't even want to watch it anymore. And then it started doing the spin-offs with that like Robert Rodriguez Boba Fett show that was just so boring.
So much so that even many on the left are thinking, what's going on with the Pedro Pascal propaganda? And it does feel like propaganda at this point. Well, now, in his recent political history, Pedro Pascal has been talking about immigrants wanting to keep everybody safe and protected and wanting to be on the right side of history. Let's watch.
I want people to be safe and to be protected, and
Another weirdo, bro. Okay, so here's the thing. I've already said Pedro Pascal is a good actor, but I have a lot of fatigue with him. Joaquin Phoenix, incredible actor, absolute weirdo. Dude's weird as shit. I'm sorry. Every interview that he does, he just like sits there and like coughs and I'm vegan though. He's just weird, dude. He's just fucking goofy, bro. And that's like the thing with Joaquin Phoenix that I've never really liked, is he just looks like somebody that if I was at a party and Joaquin Phoenix walked up to me, I'd be like, "What's up, bro?" And he would just like stare at me like uncomfortably, like he's drunk and depressed for 45 minutes.
and I want very much to live on the right side of history, and I'm an
Oh, here we go. This is a good thing. We got Dawson right here. He says, "Oh, dude, the Star Wars stuff that'll get you in a lot of get you all hot under the collar is the comics that Disney erased from existence." And then Joaquin Goofy. Yeah, no, he is, dude. He is fucking goofy. But yeah, no, the Star Wars stuff got like I was always like I had a buddy who was a huge Star Wars fan, and I was like a decent sized Star Wars fan. I'd go to all the movies. I enjoyed them. But I remember when Disney got Star Wars and everybody glazed up, I can't even remember. It was like that. It was the one where everybody dies in it. Rogue One, and I thought Rogue One was one of the most boring movies I'd ever seen. Like the last act of the movie, awesome, amazing, but there's like a middle section there that nobody talks about, where you're just staring at like shots of spaceships, and it feels like I'm watching 2001: A Space Odyssey, but worse. I remember so many people had hype, Star Wars back, and I was like, I don't know. The blind guy like glazing up the Force he doesn't have is kind of cringe.
An immigrant. My parents are refugees from Chile. I myself was a refugee. We fled a dictatorship, and I was privileged enough to grow up in the U.S. and
Okay, I'm gonna say something that might be a touch controversial. There's a difference between refugees and illegal immigrants. I think this is like something that a lot of people are like conflating, especially in modern media, where they're like, oh, you just hate immigration. It's like, I don't think that's their position. And I hate when people like conflate somebody's actual positions. It's like their actual position is against illegal immigration. I don't think I've seen anybody saying that immigration's bad, and if they are, I think they're pretty freaking cringe. But I think eliminate illegal immigration is, I don't personally like it. I think that it's cringe, but it's completely different than refugees and legal immigrants.
and after asylum in Denmark.
I don't know who is we got a chat here. Oh, I lost the we had a chat here talking about Kyle Katarn. Isn't that the guy from isn't that the one from the Star Wars game? What are those games called? I got a chat saying Rogue One. Let's pretend that Kyle Katarn was never here. I think he was the ones from those Rebel Operative Jedi. Yeah, he was the one from the games. He was the one from the Jedi Academy games, right? Or Jedi Knight, and then what was the other one? There was Jedi Knight, and then the other game, but I didn't know they just like, I haven't played those games. I tried to play the first one and it wasn't really for me. Now I need to give it another chance. I just like, that game irritated the crap out of me. I have it on PlayStation, I think, and it just yeah, Dark Forces and then Jedi Knights. And both of those games like irritate the shit out of me. I need to give them a better shot, but I didn't realize that Rogue One completely erased his existence. I also don't like how modern Disney just does whatever the fuck they want with the canon.
And if it weren't for that, I don't know what would have happened to us. And so I stand by those protections always.
Now I have many a thought on this, and I'm going to sound crazy for some of what I'm going to say, but first let's start off on the immigration point. Okay, he is a refugee. He fled a dictatorship. There's some interesting factoids within his life story because Pedro Pascal is from a very elite family. So I'm not totally buying the whole boo-hoo, poor me, refugee, asylum seeker story, although it is very much true. I urge you guys to look into the background of Pedro Pascal's family and just how cushy his upbringing may have.
I always hate when somebody says look into it. I wanna actually look into his parents real quick. Let's take a little like side quest here because I'm gonna have to do some legwork. Clean chili, okay. Here's everything to know about Pedro Pascal's parents. Blah, 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 political refugees. Chile, Texas, California. Da 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 da. No, back to most sometimes parents. This isn't what I want. I want to know like what everything's heartbreaking. Their loving story. I don't know what we need to like. What's the secret behind his parents? I'm not finding it. I'm literally like scrolling through here trying to find it. It's just like tragic story. What are they, like rich people? I'm so confused. I hate when people just like drop something like that and then don't give me like actual receipts. I did Google parents. Pedro Pascal's parents. We'll try it again, dude. I forgot to put his first name. Let's see here. Well, we're gonna find out. Us Weekly. Da, 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 da. Psychological before death in 2000s. Well, oh Jesus Christ, dude, that's depressing. As a fertility doc, so I mean, his dad was a doctor, so he probably grew up pretty cushy, bro. Like, so he's the child. His parents might have like fled because they're refugees, but it seems like they landed okay. It seems like they had a pretty cushy, pretty cushy life. So everybody except for Pascal is working as a doctor, dude. He his family was definitely the move to America, become doctors type of family. So, but it is crazy. I didn't want to read what happened to his mom. You can look that up. That's depressing as shit. Holy shit.
Asylum seeking experience. Let's just leave it at that. Now, as far as Pedro Pascal's body language, this is where I might come and sound a little bit crazy here. Pedro Pascal does this little like, ooh, he's so baby girl. Ooh, he's so socially anxious. Ooh, he's so darling sort of body language thing, and he carries it with him everywhere.
I hate this, dude. I hate this modern thing with a bunch of these like gooner actors. This is why I wanted to watch this, dude. This is something that annoyed the shit out of me with the fucking, like, oh my god, I need somebody to touch me. I need that emotional support. What are you, a fucking dog, dude? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. This is the same type of weird shit that was happening during the whole like production run of that Wicked movie. It just makes me feel weird, dude. Like, what's with everybody like this? You're gonna be okay, big guy. Oh no, oh my god, this is so. I need you to be there for. I hate it, dude. I don't know why. It just makes me uncomfortable. And this is where the fatigue, where it's already been setting in, and you see this type of shit, it makes you uncomfortable, and you're like, dude, these guys are weird.
He goes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not buying it. I think Pedro Pascal has risen quite a bit as far as his heartthrob status to like playing into this like baby girl, meek, socially anxious sort of lean. And
again, dude, if he's like comfortable enough to get on stage and like lick purple dildos, I think you're okay to talk in public. Like, get the fuck out of here. I hate when people pretend to be like socially anxious and then they do shit for clout, like jumping up on a stage to lick. I think it was like a purple lights or a rainbow lightsaber, but still, it looks like a rainbow dildo, and he's just licking it on stage, all cool. That didn't make him anxious. But oh no, he's in public and he's has these social events, and oh, he's got to be touched. Fuck off.
I don't think it's
yeah,
real.
Dude, 2007 Facebook, oh, you okay, hun vibes? Absolutely.
I think you are getting played by Pedro Pascal every time he speaks and leans into this. But nonetheless, his immigration status or his immigration journey through, being a refugee and an asylum seeker is very different from what we've been experiencing here in the United States of America, which has been the largest influx of illegal immigration in quite some time. And of course, we as U.S. citizens deserve to be safe and protected from people who do not deserve to be in this country, who do not have the right to be in this country. And as citizens, our leadership is meant to safeguard us from that. Now, doesn't mean
I really just have no thing to add to this. I don't know enough about the immigration stuff. I'm not big on illegal immigration. I never have been, but I am big on legal immigration. I think legal immigration is important and it is good. And I grew up in like a really like culturally diverse small town because it had like industry. So I look at this and I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, people who immigrate legally, you're based and awesome, but if you do it illegally, I just don't think there's not a country on this earth that allows you to just like pounce right in and just be living your normal life. That's just not how shit works.
Don't allow plenty of immigrants to enter this country through a legal means? Absolutely not. And I am fully supportive of that. And I think we should make a great structured pathway for legal immigration. But it's not to say our borders should be completely
By the way, I do think that there needs to be a little bit better of a restructuring on our immigration thing to make it a tad bit easier. I think that it's a little annoying and tedious the way it is now. And I think by making it something simpler and like streamlining it would be better. I have no qualms qualms with that. I do think that the way it is now needs to be changed. It's probably archaic, like all systems in the United States being fucking archaic and stupid. I think that it probably needs something better. Maybe switch from Windows 97 to Windows 12. What are we at now? Windows 11? I don't know. Switch to the modern version of Windows and start streamlining that shit. I think that would be better.
Open for anybody who wants to enter this country, because everybody deserves to feel safe and protected on American soil. I'm gonna have to disagree, Pedro. And that is not all from Pedro Pascal on the political front recently. He added himself to the battle against J.K. Rowling. As you all know, J.K. Rowling has been very vocal on the gender front, saying men are men and women are women, and that is that. Now, she recently celebrated a UK Supreme Court ruling that we define women based off of a biological sex, and the very same for men, and that's what's going to happen when it comes to legal identities. Now, Pedro Pascal ended up commenting on J.K. Rowling's celebration, saying, "Awful, disgusting is exactly right. Heinous loser," in all caps.
Bro, the poop throwing is hilarious. Now, by the way, I think it's funny how, like, J.K. Rowling has always been, like, an astute feminist. She's always been a big feminist. And, like, you look at the things she said, the original stuff that she said that got her into hot water, it's just, like, typical, like, 2010 feminist bullshit that then got co-opted and attacked by the LGBT warriors online. That was really all that happened. I mean, the chick's still the super feminist she's always been. She's just super annoyed with this other movement that's co-opting things. But that's not to say that I like agree with J.K. Rowling. All I know is the bitch wrote Harry Potter, and I like Harry Potter a little bit. So like I could give a shit less about that. And this is a thing too, and something that like drives me nuts is I am never going to like I'm gonna look at the art as the art. I'm not gonna look at the art. Oh well, the artist, you know, he was pretty much he was a pretty sick fuck, or she was a pretty sick fuck. She said something on Twitter that I disagree with. Get the fuck out of here. I think Mark Hamill is one of the biggest cringe lords of all time, but I still watch movies with him because I think he's an entertaining actor.
About J.K. Rowling. Now, she's like the last individual that I would refer to as a loser.
Good morning, Mike. Mike popped up in chat. He's a good sweet boy.
Nonetheless, that is Pedro Pascal's take. Now, he's also gone out and about on the town wearing a t-shirt that says "Protect the Dolls." And for those of you who are uninformed about this phrase, "Protect the Dolls" is
very soon I'll be close.
I've never heard of this. I have, like, we are about to have some new info dropping. What is Protect the Dolls, dude? What are we talking about, dude? What? Dude, are the Cabbage Patch Kids in trouble? Is there a big Cabbage Patch Kids drama, guys? Do we need to save the Cabbage Patch Kids?
The Dolls is a saying that people throw out as a means of protecting trans people because they...
Okay, so they're not Cabbage Patch Kids. The Cabbage Patch Kids are fine. We can still buy the trading cards. It's going to be okay.
They are dolls, which, you know, I think is quite fitting because a doll is quite literally a stereotypical iteration of what it means to be a girl or a woman and is not actually based in a biological reality. So sure, protect the dolls. Now, Pedro Pascal, of course, is attacking J.K. Rowling because that's what leftists do. They have
By the way, I don't give a shit what you want to do with your life. I want that to be clear. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to, like, stand here and tell you that you have to do this or you have to do that. I don't give a shit. It's like, what, like, oh, you want to, like, dress up like a girl and be called a girl? Sure, do your thing, pal. And then you want to, if you're a girl, you want to dress up like a guy? Sure, do your thing, pal. I don't give a shit. It's a free country. Do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, it's like has no effect on my life whatsoever.
Toe the line of their ideology, and that means protecting trans people. And
dude, Mike works as like a janitor. He's talking about how kids just be throwing Pokemon cards away.
This day and age, but also Pedro Pascal has a sister.
Dude, Cabbage Patch for life, 10-4, dude. We got chat understands you. Cabbage Patch for life. We got to stand with the Cabbage Patch Kids.
How we say brother named Lux, who identifies as a trans woman, and thus the Protect the Dolls t-shirts and the calling of J.K. Rowling a heinous loser. And of course, he's made many a comment on transgender ideology and the transgender movement. He made a post on Instagram saying a world without trans people has never existed and never will. And he commented underneath that, "I can't think of anything more vile and small and pathetic than terrorizing the smallest, most vulnerable community of people who want nothing from you except the right to exist. Yes, they want nothing
Well,
from
here's the thing too. Okay, so I think you have every right to be whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that you're like completely like you're not shielded from criticism. You're not shielded from being made fun of. I'm sorry, dude. This modern society where everybody is a protected class. You're pussies. You're bitches. Like, dude, we make fun of each other on the internet. You know how often I'm gonna get called fat, greasy, annoying, like a loser all the time, and who cares? That's part of the fun of the internet. I enjoy like getting like wet and wild down in the comments. I enjoy seeing people like lose their fucking mind. But these guys want everybody to just cater to them, and that's not how the world works. It's like, yeah, you can make fun of you. I'm sorry, dude. If you're being a goofy weirdo, we're gonna call you fucking goofy weirdos.
you except the right to exist, the right to define terms based off of the whims of their own imagination.
Let's go, dude. Mike snatched the pack that they were like tossing out, and he's gonna use it for content. Dude, anything you find in life that is worth content, make content, and then recycle and make more content.
And the right to encroach on female spaces, female privacy, female safety, and to infringe upon the rights of both women and men, but nothing more than the right to exist, right, Pedro? And so I find it utterly ironic that Pedro Pascal is being touted around as the poster child of modern day masculinity when Pedro Pascal seemingly has no idea what it means to be a man or a woman. In fact, these things are apparently interchangeable, for man can be woman and woman.
All right, one thing about the model of masculinity that America needs, I'm gonna get way away from the trans stuff. I'm gonna go in a different ballpark here. If you're here just like buttering yourself up on stage, I think that the movie's pretty good. I'm kind of scared right now. Fuck you, dude. You're a pussy. You're weird, bro. You're a fucking weirdo, dude. Get off of ecstasy and off the stage, bro. Why did you drop like 8 tabs of ecstasy just to touch your shirt on stage, dude? It's freaking weird. I don't like it. Oh, well, all men need to be more sensitive, like Pedro Pascal. Get the fuck out of here, dude. These are weirdo pussies. These are weirdo fucking weird pussy motherfuckers. Like, what are we talking about here? I hate when they're trying to like restructure society to fit like the weirdest fucking demographic. Like, come on, dude. This guy, this guy has a clip where he's like, "I'm a 50-year-old bougie bitch," and it's like, yeah, dude, you're telling me he is super masculine, bro. Bro's like going out there, he's hunting, he's fishing, he's getting into like some drunk skirmishes. Okay, the drunk skirmishes thing isn't. I don't think it's that manly. I think that's just fucking being retarded. But like, come on, dude. The dude's like, you think this guy's going out and deer hunting? Get the fuck out of here, bro. He ain't manly. Get out.
Can be man, just ask Pedro Pascal's brother, sister. And I know a lot of this video to people who maybe love Pedro Pascal or do not know of Pedro Pascal is going to sound like I am attacking him. I'll say it's a critique. And I really can't blame Pedro Pascal all that much because this has been incentivized by Hollywood. It's been incentivized by modern audiences. And I think he's playing into a caricature that he knows is going to have him labeled as the heartthrob of the modern world. And what the world wants right now in a heartthrob, I guess, is a man who is non-toxically masculine, but is toxically empathetic. He loves women so much that he wants everybody to be one. He loves the US so much and the privilege and rights of US citizens that he wants to just open the border and allow everybody to be here. And he wants so much for everything and everyone to exist that now nothing exists at all. And we have no framework or definition for anything that is supposedly existing in today's.
Create a voiceover.
Like, he's just kind of weird, bro. He, like, that's my thing, dude. And it's like this, it's what, and I hate that Hollywood just like comes out, like, especially in modern times, and it's like, this is what we want society to be. This is what we want society to be. We want everybody to be these desensitized little weirdos that are too anxious to have a fucking conversation. They need their emotional support blowjobs and their emotional support dildos to just like hang out and be able to talk in public. Get the fuck out of here. Stop being a little bitch, dude. This is shit that you get through. Especially if you're like a famous celebrity, you get through this shit. I'm sorry. This is just pandering to a bunch of fucking shut-ins on the internet to where they're like, "Oh, Pedro Pascal is just like me." No, he's not.
Age, and that is Pedro, and he's being rewarded for this mindset. I'll read you a little snippet from an MSNBC article that is labeling Pedro Pascal as the paragon of modern men. Okay, let's see it. It says, sure, Pedro Pascal has that megawatt smile, but his expression of masculinity, rooted as it is in an ethic of care, is in large part what has garnered him zaddy status. He is proof positive that there are fewer
Bro,
things.
the word zaddy should be burned from existence, dude. Oh my god, zaddy. Zaddy's so hot. Look at that zaddy. God damn it, dude. I wish we were actually talking about Cabbage Patch Kids now. At least they would have, like some fun factor. This is just cringe.
Things hotter or more manly than caring for others. Right, guys? And yes, it is cool to care for others, but sometimes we must agree that different people care about different things. You know what? I'm going to close out today's video with some sage words of advice from Pedro Pascal himself, and let's see if we can interpret this to apply to other people than Pedro Pascal. Pedro says, keep telling the stories, keep expressing yourself, and keep fighting to be who you are. The people who try to make you scared, and fight back. This is the perfect way to do so in telling stories, and don't let them win. Now, Pedro Pascal, does that bit of advice apply to anybody other than you and your leftist ideologues? I think so. Do you think so? I will leave you.
I think that's actually just not a bad statement. I mean, there's going to be two people who are going to... I'm not going to call you Zaddy, Mike. No Zaddy. No Zaddy, bad Zaddy. Anyways, I think that's just not bad advice. There's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna tell you that you can't do what you're gonna do, and like don't follow your dreams. I think if you get to the baseline of everything and get the activist bullshit out of the in between the lines shit of that statement, I think there's also a statement you can find which isn't bad. I just think the dude's cringe, dude. I think the dude's fucking wacky and wild, and I'm just not a fan anymore. I mean, okay, so I'm a fan of his acting. I just don't like him as a person. He's like, for me, he's he is like a walking phoenix, where he's just too goofy. He's too fucking goofy for me, and that was the line. Anyways, that's all I got for Pedro Pascal. It was an interesting one. The dude's wacky and weird, and I just can't handle him. But subscribe.